Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein.
The students of Ali ibn Muhammad al-Samuri, the fourth naib, the last naib, before which Ghaibat al-Kubra begins. So they're sitting down in a group. Just listen to this incident to understand. I've not gone into details because we can talk at length about every individual. Talking about the last and then we quickly move. Since the students of Ali ibn Muhammad al-Samuri sitting, he's teaching them. He's representative of the Imam. He's definitely teaching, training. As he's talking, the students narrate while they talk. Now these are all available in all the books that talk about Mahdi and Mahdaviyat and the life history of Imam Zamana. It's all there. As they're sitting, he's dictating, he's explaining certain things. All of a sudden he puts his head down as if something severe has happened. Very anguished, very sad, very anxious, anxiety writ over his face, pain writ over his face, sadness and sorrow upon his face. And suddenly the students ask, Sayyidi, what is wrong? What has happened to you? Now this is the incident of Baghdad. Baghdad is in Iraq. He's giving a lesson, giving a dars. All of a sudden, change in the demeanor, change in facial expressions, anguish, sadness, sorrow writ upon his face. The students ask, Sayyidi, what has happened? Ustad, what has happened? He says, Ali ibn Qummi Babuay has passed away in Qum. He's in Baghdad. He's talking about Ali ibn Babuay Qummi in Qum having passed away. Now let me tell you who this Ali ibn Babuay Qummi is. Most of us have heard about Sheikh Saduq. In the Islamic fiqh, no marja can give a fatwa except that he has gone through the hadith of 4 books that we refer to as Kutub Arba. These 4 books are those major books without which a mujtahid cannot give a fatwa. However big the mujtahid is, till he is not gone through these 4 books. These are referred to as Kutubul Arba. Kutub means books, Arba means 4, the 4 books. One of them is Usulul Kafi. Sheikh Muhammad ibn Yaqub al-Kulaini. Everybody's heard about Al-Kafi. But there is one book in this which is referred to Man la yahduruhul faqih. The riwayat in this book cannot be seen unless these riwayats are not seen. A mujtahid cannot give a fatwa. The musannif, the author of this book, Sheikh Saduq. This Sheikh Saduq, let me tell you about him so that you know what we are talking about and individuals that we're talking about and which life we lead in and what fallacious and captivities that we've got in this world have taken us away from realities. Sheikh Saduq, one of the most prominent scholars in the early stages of Islam. One fact about Sheikh Saduq was that, and I will give you the reason for it. One fact about Sheikh Saduq was, Sheikh Saduq had a photographic memory. Photographic memory and a kevu. He would pick up a book, he would read a page, 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, 4 page, he would read a book. After that, you ask him any page and he would recite it by memory. That's called photographic memory. The books that he would read, everything that he would read, I'll tell you the reason, listen to this. Every page that he would read gets imprinted. A photographic memory, that was something that's special about him. This Sheikh Saduq, name Saduq means somebody very truthful, comes from the word Sadiq. Sadiq means somebody who's truthful. Saduq means somebody who's extremely truthful. This Sheikh Saduq, his father Ali ibn Babuay, about whom this 4th naib, Ali ibn Muhammad al-Samuri, gave the indication that he has passed away. Ali ibn Babuay in Qum. This Ali ibn Babuay is the father of Sheikh Saduq. Sheikh Saduq's name is Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Babuay. The father is Ali ibn Babuay. Sheikh Saduq's name is Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Babuay. So now you heard about Sheikh Saduq, photographic memory. How it comes about, listen to this. His father Ali ibn Babuay, for a certain time in life, he never had children. He never had children. This is the time of Ghaibat al-Sughra, the time when Imam had, and the time of the 3rd naib, Hussein ibn Raw and Nawbakhti, that the one that we write the Arida and put in, that time. Ali ibn Babuay for several years, no children. living in Iran, next to Qum. Initially, he was living in Ray. That Ray, Ray, that same area for which Omar Assad was given the promise, I will give you if you kill Hussein. For that same reason, he killed Hussein, the same place, Ray. Ali ibn Babuay living in Ray. He is married, doesn't have children. Years he doesn't have children. Once he dua, keeps praying, no reply. So what do I do? So Imam is there. Let me go to the Imam. No access to the Imam directly. I've got access to his naib, Hussein ibn Bakhti. He takes off from Iran, Qum, Tehran, Ray, goes to Baghdad, meets Hussein ibn Bakhti. He says, Ya Hussein, Ya Sayyidi, you are the naib khas. You are the naib of the Imam. You are in direct contact with the Imam. I don't have direct contact with the Imam, but you do have. Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Hussein ibn Bakhti says, Ali ibn Babuay, Jalilul Qadr Alim, you're having your martaba, your rank, your status. I know, tell me what can I do for you? He says, ask Imam to pray for me so that I get a child. He says, done. I will convey the message. He says, you convey the message, send me the message back. I don't want to impose the Imam when he replies, because I know Imam, his Mashiach, God's Mashiach, they know what to do. Just convey to the Imam, Ali ibn Babuay is requesting you, can you please pray to God so that I get a son, I get a child. Hussein ibn Bakhti says, next time I meet the Imam, I will convey your message. Ali ibn Babuay leaves Baghdad, returns back to Qum. 3 days later, he receives a message from Hussein ibn Bakhti. Imam has answered. You have requested something, he sent a message. Look at the message of the Imam. Says, Hussein ibn Bakhti says, I went to the Imam and I told the Imam, Ali ibn Babuay came from Qum just so that I could communicate to you this message, that he wants you to pray for him so that he gets a child. Now Hussein ibn Bakhti is writing to Ali ibn Babuay Qummi. Says, Imam has said this. Now listen what Imam says. He says, Hussein, tell Ali ibn Babuay that from the current wife that he has, he will not get any child. But in a short while, he will purchase a kaniz, a slave girl. He needs to marry her. Once he marries her, now Imam gives 4 prophecies. He says, once he marries her, with this wife there is no child. The Mashiach of God does not allow him to get a child from this woman. But a slave girl will ankarib come very shortly in his control. He needs to marry her. Once he marries her, then Imam says 4 basharat to Ali ibn Babuay Qummi. He says once he marries her, God will grace him with waladain. Up to now he never had children. Up to now there was no children. That's the reason he went from Iran to Iraq to Baghdad to the Naib to pray to Imam. Imam says with the slave girl, God will grace him waladain, 2 children. Hassan, Hassanain, 2 Hassan. Maghrib, Maghribain, Maghrib and Isha 2. Dhuhr, Dhuhrain. Walad, Waladain, 2 children. Look at the 4 prophecies. He says, tell Ali ibn Ibrahim Qummi, with this slave girl, God will grace him waladain, 2 children. Dhakarain, 2 male children. Dhakar means male. Untha in Arabic means female. Says waladain, 2 children. Dhakarain, 2 male children. Khairain, pious individuals. They will grow up to be pious individuals. They will grow up to be muttaqi individuals. They will grow up to be khairain. 2 boys who are khair. And then he adds the last one, faqihain. 2 children who will become faqih. When they are born, tell Ali ibn Ibrahim Qummi to name the first one Muhammad, name the second one Hussein. This Muhammad becomes Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Babuay Qummi, which you and me known to be Sheikh Saduq, whose book without reading and the hadith in his books without reciting, no mujtahid can give a fatwa. And that is what Sheikh Saduq would keep saying, Ana wulidtu bid'awati sahib al-amr. I was born because of the dua of Imam Zamana. And Imam writes to Hussein ibn Bakhti, tells him, tell Ali ibn Ibrahim Qummi, we have prayed for him to get children and God has accepted our prayers. Remember last night we mentioned how Imam wrote to Sheikh Mufid, understand, we know all that goes around with you. We know all your happenings. If it were not for our prayers, you would never be successful in life. You would have finished off. You would have gone away. Here Imam says, tell Ali ibn Ibrahim Qummi, there was no child from this wife. We prayed to God. God says, now because you've prayed, we are making arrangements so that he gets children. Waladain, dhakar. صل على ولدين ذكرين خيرين فقيهين. And all of these four came true. After he gets married to the slave girl, 2 children are born, 2 males are born. They grow up to be pious individuals. More than that, they grow up to be faqih. They grow up to be the likes of Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Babuay Qummi. This was Ali ibn Babuay Qummi in Baghdad. Ali ibn Muhammad al-Samuri sitting, the last naib, sitting with the students, narrating, puts his head down. What happened, Sayyidi? Ali ibn Babuay Qummi has passed away in Qum. Sitting in Baghdad, this Naib Imam is giving information of what is happening in Qum. Even now, if you go to Iran and you go to Qum, outside the haram of Bibi Masuma is the grave of Ali ibn Babuay Qummi. Sometimes it really hurts us. People don't know who these Wali Khuda are, who these Awliya Khuda are. They spend so much money to go to Iran, they don't visit these graves. They come back. They lose out on so much barakat, by the grace that would be beneficial to them, by the barakat that they would get from this. But because of lack.
Hussein, 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 Hussein.